Alright, so I just pulled the converter out of this thing, and you see this fluid looks like motor oil. I mean, that is nasty, burnt, horribly smelling transmission fluid. Something is roasted inside there. 2015 F-150. What we're doing is taking the transmission out of this thing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the weight off the cross member by putting a tripod under here. We're going to take off two 21 millimeter nuts that are up in there, 13 millimeter right here, and one on the other side to take loose the heat shield. And then we're going to get this cross member out of here with these two and these two. That's one way to do it. So the next thing we're going to do after that cross member's out of there is we got to get the exhaust out. And that is going to be back here, 13s here and here. Sometimes you got to use heat to get them out of there. We'll see how these come out. And then on the front, we got two 15s right there and two on this side. And then make sure you disconnect all your O2 sensors here, there should be 4 of them. And then we'll get this exhaust out of here. Once you get the exhaust loose and you can make it hang down a little bit, then you take off these 4 15s here, 2 on the other side for this mount, and you can slide the mount off of these brackets. Just slide it backwards off of there. But you can't do that if the exhaust is tucked up tight, because you can't slide this back. They make a bolt here where you can take this in half. With that bolt right there, you can take this in half and kind of fold this down out of the way. And you can finagle it out if you have to, just do the mount. But since I'm taking the transmission out anyway, and I got to take the exhaust out, you loosen these up here, and then this thing will hang down a little bit, and then you can just pull that off of there. Okay, so now that you got all the exhaust loose, what you're going to do is you're going to take those two 15s out right there, and same on this side. Two 15s right there. All right, you can see how that came apart, and this just slides off there now. Okay, now that the exhaust is out of there, now what we're going to do is we're going to take out this front drive shaft and the rear drive shaft. So the front one is all these 10s. Here, same on the front, 6 of them, 10 millimeters. We'll get that drive shaft out of there. This one is going to be normal Ford stuff, and it's this 12 millimeter, and I have a special socket for these. All right. So this is the socket that I use for these, and it's made especially for these Ford drive shaft bolts. All right, after you get the drive shafts out of there, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the starter off so we can get to the torque converter bolts. So this nut here, and then this bolt, and then this bolt here, and that will take the starter loose. We'll tuck it up out of the way in there, and then get to the torque converter bolts from the back side. sometimes you just got to break out Big Daddy. So now up in here you can see this rubber cover right here comes off, and that's how you get to that torque converter bolt right there. And then you just turn the motor over one at a time, and I think there's maybe 4 of them that come out of there, but that's how you get torque converter bolts out. I just crank it over by the front of the motor right here on the crankshaft, and then get me a socket and ratchet in there and take that loose. First we're going to see if this is strong enough to take it off. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. All right, you got to tighten up. Get this thing spinning and then stick it on there. So now that we got all of those out of there, you can take this and wiggle it, and if it moves, then you know you got them all, but there's 4 of them up in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this transmission jack and we're going to put it underneath this pan right here and hold it up, and then get this transfer case off of here. So this transfer case is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's probably like 9 of them. So these are a reverse Torx 14. And I don't know what these are made out of, but these things are as light as cardboard. I mean, I don't know if they're titanium or zinc or what in the heck these are, but they're the lightest bolts I've ever seen in my life. And right here, we're just unplugging all the electrical connectors from the transfer case. Alright, transfer case is off. So now once you have that off, now we're just going to take, I already took this off to put it in gear so I could turn the drive shaft. Cooler lines come off. This comes out of here and just hangs over to the side. And then this main plug-in has got to come off. And we got to unattach these wires, like here where it goes through the case right here. There's a couple different places where you unhook those. Then after that, it's just going to be bell housing bolts. So all the bolts that hold it to the motor, and it should come out. And it looks like too, there's one right here that goes in the opposite way than all the rest of them. So don't forget that one. Oh, and that one right up there is also another one that goes in the opposite way. So you got to get those too. Don't forget those. And there's a 15 millimeter right here to take this bracket off the side. All right, everybody, there it is. 6-speed Ford, pulled out, not too bad on this one. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next one.